Want to welcome everyone to today's meeting of the Rockland Board of Sewer Commissioners working session. This meeting is an open meeting to the public, but it's being recorded. Playback later in WRPS if anyone wants to see it. The working session meetings for the Board of Sewer Commissioners, there'll be no public comment except for those parties listed on the agenda. And with that, I'll take a motion to open the meeting.
Motion open the meeting?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, Mr. DeRoss?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
And Mr. Hessian, yes. We have no minutes to approve from last week.
May 2nd minutes were sent out?
That's right, I have them, I did read them, I didn't bring them, so I'm gonna table that.
Okay.
I didn't proofread them.
Okay.
With that, we'll go to 365 Concord Street. They were approved, we went through that last session on the reason why. And I have a current fee schedule that we agreed on. And I just wanna make sure it's into the record that's what we'll be posting in.
Mm-hmm.
What I changed is on the bottom, I wanna read the conditions. Connection permits for 1 year from the date of the new approval, and only after the Rockland Sewer Department completes current I&I removal to accommodate the required flow. All units must comply with the Rockland Sewer Ordinance. Connections will be to an 8-inch diameter pipe connecting to the sewer main. If the developer agrees to install a final grinder pump per the ordinance, they may substitute 6-inch diameter pipe feed to the main in lieu of the 8-inch diameter. Final inspection approval by RSD is required.
So questions, yeah, from the new approval date, can't we just put in the date in there? May 2nd?
We did, that's okay, this is the new
Yeah,
approval
but
date.
why, no, that's the date the document's made, one, it should just
That's
be
it,
1
that's
year
the date
from
we
the
approved
new-
it, that's the date we approved it,
Okay.
so I'm gonna go May
All right.
2nd.
Going forward, it should just be 1 year from
Okay,
this date. And, you're putting a condition on that we have to, our current I&I removal, that's the project with, Green Mountain.
right, and there should be more than enough to accommodate that.
Okay, because they were approved prior to the moratorium.
Right, but I just wanna make sure that we don't want connections going in, that's gonna be, he's not gonna meet it anyway, cause he's a year and a half away from finish.
Right, okay.
So that was just
Alright.
As you know.
So are we gonna send this out on the letterhead to them?
I think we could, yeah. Robin has a copy of it, and when she gets all the files, we'll take it.
Okay.
Sure.
They're running to break ground over there.
They don't have a date yet. I think he's already paid his fees, so.
Yes,
Was it?
Yes, he did.
Right?
Okay,
You
so
did
he's
pay
paid.
that. Going forward, do we wanna be making formal votes on these fees, or how are we gonna?
We voted, I'd like to have a formal vote on the fees and everything. I think we pretty much got everything out of the way now and all the background cleared up.
Right, and that's what I'm thinking about, is just going forward,
Going
making a
forward,
smooth
absolutely.
path.
One smooth meeting, here's your fees.
Right, because I would expect when we get a superintendent, they would be creating this, then it
Right.
would come to us, when we would give it the final vote on it, okay.
EPA submittal update, we're rolling right along, there's some nickel dime stuff that I think it's in your lap. Other than that, everything is, we should have that for next Tuesday night's next Thursday afternoon's meeting.
Alright, so what you have in front of you is the wait list. This is the information that would be going to the EPA, the connection data. Table 4, just needs balances on the account.
Okay, table 4, okay.
Alright, sorry. Starting from the top, table 2. These are the approved sewer service connections that are waiting to connect. So I added the Manzella Court. The last one project that's on there was not submitted on the previous report, and I just think it's because it's in such a state of suspension.
Yeah, that single family, that's Carey Street, correct?
Single family is all those single family homes that we have approved. It's not, it's it's the 1 bedroom adds,
Oh, okay.
so they were not subject to the moratorium. Now, I can spell that out better, sounds like I need to. Actually, I think what we can do is,
I don't think you have to put
Put
the
it-
detailed listing.
no, I'll let, who's doing this?
John?
John, yeah, I'll let John know what that is included and he can make a note on
Okay.
it as a table. Then we have table 3, the project's pending, they're just pending. And then table 4 would be the balance in the accounts, which I believe 365 is paid.
So the INI
So
balance of
I
the
just
account,
And Robin gave me the ledger pages, so I just have to figure that out,
okay.
what those balances are. The approved wait list, this is, what we should update our website.
Concord Manzeller is good. Beechwood will begin next Thursday afternoon.
Correct.
Which one's
Why?
which?
Beechwood is gonna be, they were the units up on Beach Hill.
Mm.
Multiple units going over. He'll be back to us. They were approved like 10 years ago,
And they really
and
need
it's
to
just been
start
dragged
over.
on and on and on. I told
Is
them.
that the over 55?
Yeah, I think they have something
You
like that.
go in that road and it's on the right-hand side.
I'm not sure, to be honest, where it is. I know it's up there somewhere. But like I said, he's supposed to be coming in and give us an update of where he is. Dwyer Street, I reached out to him again and told him we wanted to do plans, no return on the phone call.
Okay.
Board approved project, but subject to the moratorium.
So that,
Now, the other one that's gonna come up that's gonna be interesting is 48 Cary Street. 48 Cary Street was at at the town meeting, one of the warrants was to purchase the land for open space that did not go through. Oh, no, the owner
He withdrew.
withdrew that application. So I'm sure he's gonna be coming back with
Proposal.
a proposal for a duplex, but
so we
that's
have,
gonna be subject to the
we have
moratorium.
a couple of issues. One is that I wouldn't wanna look at anything until it's gone through zoning, through
Absolutely.
all of that.
Absolutely, he's not
I'm
coming
not
to us
looking
with
at
until he's got final plans.
And then the other is that we said we weren't accepting any applications, so.
For those of you interested in shingle mill, I think that's been put off to June 6th with the ZBA. Now, just so everyone's aware of, as of June 16th of this year, any agreements with shingle mill with the sewer department are perceived or otherwise are void because it's beyond his 2-year date.
So I
That's all I'll
can't,
say on shingle mill.
okay, so I can't speak to Shingle Mill directly, due to a possible conflict of interest. But I think between that, we have some others on here that may have been approved, and I just wanna
Which
make
others?
sure, I just wanna make sure that they don't fall under that COVID Rule 42.
No, okay,
So,
which ones are you
um,
talking?
Let me go back and let you know which ones those are.
Cause I see nothing on here
Well,
with the
Beechwood.
exception. Beechwood, no, because they're technically, their 2 years was up way before that,
Okay,
so I'm not even gonna count them.
then I would just wanna look at that.
Yeah, okay.
How about the Holy Family?
Holy Family hasn't come to us, they have not been to zoning, they have not been to, Concom, well, they don't have to go to Concom. They have not got the final approval for zoning,
Right.
so they
Park and
don't.
Howard?
Park and Howard's coming before us, May 18th.
Have they got all their permits?
What he wants to do is come in and just discuss it only.
May 18th?
Yep, he's on. Robin gave me another one yesterday that'll be on, it's for a single family house on Union Street. 2, maybe 3 bedroom,
New lot,
new house, just single family house. So it'll just be, it's a vacant lot, he'll be connecting to sewer, there's no previous tie-in. And right now it's up in the air whether it's gonna be a 2 or 3 bedroom. But either way, he'll fall below the 440.
I'm sorry, what street was that on?
It's gonna Union Street, I forget the number.
Okay.
And on the agenda, I put Union Street, I did not know the number.
And then. Park and Howard is discussion on,
We're talking out of simply a discussion, he wants to tell us what he is planning or what he's thinking of doing, he has no final plans either.
okay. So then I will give this wait list to Robin without the fees.
Right.
And that will be
Yeah.
posted.
And that takes care of the EPA report connection data, because that's what they're waiting for.
Yes, I wanna make sure.
I
it's-
think John is out of the
An
office,
agreement.
isn't he?
He is, he said, actually, he's back tomorrow,
Okay.
and I said I would have the information he needs, which I will have when I leave here, and we'll get it to him.
Okay, yeah, so that's
So-
also gonna take care of the updated wait list for the web posting.
Yes. And that should take care of everything for John.
Okay, I wanna jump over to the CWMP draft approval vote. Sherry's got some questions, so we're not gonna have a vote of approval probably next Thursday night. One of the questions that you had asked was, about the digesters, I believe, the anaerobic and all that.
Yes,
The reason, at least, they recommended we do away with the digesters. My feeling was I really wanna hold off to the very last second on that before they make a recommendation, because the pricing of sludge is going through the roof, sludge disposal. It's getting tougher and tougher. And there is also alternatives out there, alternative uses for sludge, like Deer Island tried with fertilizer.
yeah, I remember.
So until we get down the road, which is, I figure at least 5, 6, 7 years, I really don't want to even contemplate the digesters. We're gonna be going around anyway, and that's one of the last things we're gonna be doing, so we have time for that. I just think it warrants a lot more discussion and a lot more
So
research.
it's those buildings, and you're saying there could be other options?
There could be other options, I think there's other options now. And the only other thing I have on the CWP for me personally was, lack of recommendation of solar.
Solar for us?
Well, solar power, anything we could do, let's face it, this roof is flat,
Ah,
that roof is flat.
of course.
And,
Why not
and we
put
had any
panels?
spare space we had, why couldn't we put towers up to, I'm looking at anything we can to offset pricing.
Hey, that's a great idea.
So that was my only other question to add.
What's good about these big buildings, so you can sell the gas back to them.
Well, this weekend, but that's the other alternative, see, we're burning methane, to
Yeah.
me, you're burning it, that creates an energy. Why can't we use that alternative energy source of power, some of the things around here? That's some of the technology I wanna look at in the future,
Yeah.
pertaining to the digester.
I mean,
Because, like,
you
when-
could give a small generator run on that method.
Well, I don't think you could run a generator off it, but there's gotta be, engineering alternatives out there to take that energy to use it for heating sources.
Hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't want to run out and have it pumping pure methane in, but there's got to be ways you could take that energy from the
Yeah.
heat and offset our heating bill somehow. These are the concerns I had. So we'll hold off on that till Sherry gets your answers and they can publish something. But as far as the CWMP, where it is now, it's published out, it's out getting public comment. So if anybody wants to comment on it, the site is listed in the paper, you can get the comment, you can read the draft on our website and get your comments to Wright Pierce, and they will have them addressed and it'll go into the final document. That's a CWMP. Chairman meeting with other boards. I was approached by John Ellard, last week or the week before, I forget. We were talking on the telephone, he had some questions, and one of the things he asked is if I would be adverse to meeting with the other chairmen of the other boards. And I said I had no problem with that, but I prefer having it done in open meeting. My feeling was he wasn't keen on that, he says, because he was saying there's some people may feel more relaxed and be more open in a non-public meeting, but I feel that's where we can get in trouble. I mean, I think if he wants to have an open board meeting, it has to be regarding the letter we sent out telling them that we can't sign any permits.
Right.
So if it's regarding that letter, I would prefer it being on open session. We could have them here as a working group, and if it's conflicting with hours, we could do it at night. And just say, okay, it's a working, because Doug wanted the meeting, we say, okay, it'll be Doug Lapp, the sewer commission, and any of their board members that won't feel like attending, or even the public, but the public's gonna have to realize they can't comment.
Comments.
But, you know, I'm asking you to how you feel. I just am not, I'm not comfortable doing it in open meeting, in a non-open meeting format. If I did go, I'd say I wanna record it, and if they're gonna allow me to record it, what's the difference between that and an open meeting? But again, I also don't wanna give the impression that we're not open to meeting with them.
The only question I would have is with the open meeting, you have to publish the agenda, and you might be constraining the
The
discussion.
conversation, that's a good point.
And I think getting all the boards together is really important.
That's a good point I never thought of, you know that?
And-
Because there may be issues that come up on a wing like that.
Especially with other boards contributing.
Yeah.
I think, you know, if you record it and we just type up minutes, that would, certainly take care of the transparency.
That's a good idea, I never thought of that.
Because I think the situation.
Because it would constrict creative
Very much.
conversation.
Very much. And I think it's really important right now for all the town to get on board and to come together to solve these big problems that we have. And they're more than just the sewer department, but the sewer department is predominantly involved.
That's, I think we're the constraint right now, and I want them to realize that we're more than open to working with them, but they're, my, again, all along is that I knew we were gonna get hit with this order, because once you get hit with one administrative order, the policy is to let that order just go and let you do your job. But when your permit is up, in the case the order was up, they go back and look at all your violations. That's part of the process, and that's where we got burned for '06. So we're gonna be burned we're gonna get fined, but only for what the violations of the '06 order, but I don't wanna leave us open for future violations. That's why I'm really treading water here until we get, at least through the November submittal. So, but I think that's a great idea. I never thought of that. That would really restrict the conversation, because we'd need an agenda.
So we're about 700,000 gallons over a day then, right?
Well, according to the 12-month rolling average, and I think April's it's gonna boot it up. I think you're gonna see a 12-month rolling average of 2.65, 2.7. So you can't go by the monthly average, because it's fluctuation, it's seasonal. I mean, you may have a month that you get heavy rains like we did in, say, April, and then May, we've got nothing, and you can't say, oh, okay, we're down to 1.8, let's add.
No.
It don't work that way. I'm gonna send that email out to them and say, yeah, send it up. What else was there? There was something else on my mind about that. Oh, I know what it was. Did any of you happen to see today's ledger?
Yes.
Oh, Union Point.
Union Point, and they're talking about maybe another wastewater plant there for the development.
Well, that is, if you look at the number of units that they're proposing for Union Point for just the Rockland side, I think that came to like, if I did the quick math, I said, okay, 1,200 units, 3 bedrooms a unit, that's gonna be 300,000 gallons a day. But then you tack on the 11-1, that's 3.4, 3.3 million gallons a day would have to remove. Well, it's not a snowball's chance in hell we're gonna do that, so The only options they have would be on-site treatment or a separate wastewater treatment system.
Mhm.
They cannot tie into this one.
So they had to do that on an HOA.
They'd have to do that, but the problem they have is with the current, and it's nothing to do with the zoning, I think it's the current bylaws that the way that thing was formed with the state is that they can't have sewerage plant on there. So that's way down the line, but I just hope if there's gonna be any negotiation or discussion on sewer, that the town has us involved.
And so that was my question, is who's our town rep working on this?
Right now, no one.
No one, and I think,
And
and
I
I
don't
found
think
that
John Ellen
very-
has, I'm not shooting John Ellen, but I don't think he's got the experience to voice an opinion on sewer.
well, I just found that article very interesting because it kind of dovetails to the CWMP and some of their recommendations.
Yeah, how much,
So-
how much they put on the Abington side then?
So they said altogether it was 7,200 housing units?
Right, it's like
For
1,200
the whole-
would be on Rockland side, 1,200 a foot, 1,300, something of that nature.
And for the sewer, it was either a plant on site or else tie into all the town's municipals, and we know
We
we
can't take
can't
it.
do that.
They can't
And
go in
Brockton,
there.
and Abington's tied in with Brockton, and they may be peaking their limit, or if they have more capacity, that will lead it up. Because then what you're gonna have is you're gonna have Weymouth saying, okay, we can't take it. Weymouth has got just as big a sewer problem as we do.
Worse.
Weymouth's on MWRA.
MWA, but they've got problems.
Big time.
So what they're gonna have, they'll probably say, okay, for the base, if we're gonna plumb Abington, we'll plumb the Weymouth side of the base too.
Mhm.
But I'll tell you, that's gonna be huge money. Huge money.
But that pumping station down in, by Wessagusset Beach.
Oh, God, that's Weymouth's problem, but they've got huge problems in their sewer system, pump stations.
And I told you about East Street, did I?
Yeah. But see, but my thing is, if they're gonna pump the base,
Right out of the ground.
they're gonna pump the base, they might as well treat at Rockland, Abington, and Weymouth as one thing and find a place to go. They're gonna get water from somewhere, but I know MWRA will not take any more sewage, so that sewage is gonna have to go. Abington doesn't have a sewer plant, Weymouth can't dispose of it, certainly Hingham's not gonna take it, cause that's at MWRA. So it leaves Rockland, Brockton,
Rockland can't
and
take
Rockland
it.
can't take it.
And which way do they shoot it? The kid,
They'd have to go towards Brockton to go down towards Rochester way.
I mean, to shoot the water from the wastewater plant, where you gonna shoot
They'd
it?
have to, that's where they're gonna have to.
They want you to go through the North River.
They can't go North River, they
The
never will.
only other way is head toward Whitman's Pond.
We'll never go to Whitman's Pond. They can't do it in Abington, they
Yeah.
can't do it in they can't do it in Weymouth, I mean, but that's up to them, but, we should find out, send a letter, who is the sewer liaison? Sewer representation on the, base board. I think, once I hit the paper today, I think you're gonna see a lot of conversations coming up about that, because we can't handle what we got coming down. One of the things, and this is for, I will public pay attention to this, we had a meeting last May 5th with the EPA when that order came out. And I believe it was, either Attorney Clifford or Chairman O'Laughlin said, we know Rockland has an I&I problem, and Karen McGuire, the head of compliance, says Rockland does not just have an I&I problem, they have a capacity problem, which means, remember, back in 1962, this facility was designed for 2.5 million. It has not changed, the town has grown, we are at that number right now. 2.5 million is with, even includes your safety margins and heavy rains, a 5-year storm, not the bigger ones. So we should be average, we should never exceed 1.8, and we're well beyond that.
Now, if we build a bigger plant,
What if we get a plant?
can they get the permit changed?
They're only gonna, your permit is site specific.
Okay,
Your permit, our permit is for discharge at that point. Now, that point just doesn't end there. That point, front of stream, goes all through Rockland. So they may just say, all you're allowed to discharge is 2.5 into front of stream. It does not mean you can deposit another 2.5 further upstream. that is the haggling that's gonna come with the EPA, and even if they do, say that, with 300,000 gallons additional minimal that will be coming in for sewerage, I don't see that even if they went with 3 million, we'll be at over capacity again. We're not gaining anything, we're pushing the limit again. They have no alternative but to look at an on-site treatment system. And then the thing is, where do you put it?
And discharge from there. But the CWMP talked about the ground discharge.
That's box culverts, and it still has to be treated. That's what, we're talking about culverts for here.
Yeah, no, I thought it was the
That's for storage, yeah, that's for effluent storage, you know, that we could pump through it.
Treated water disposal.
Yeah.
Just as they talked about last time.
Yeah, it's not a means of discharging capacity, it's a means of storage capacity for processing at lower flow rates. So that's where that is. Municipal sewer fees, I have not heard back from the water department for a meeting. I'm still of the mindset that we have to have an open meeting with the selectmen. Say, look, we're running out of options here for funding, and you're gonna have to help us out. So I think what I'll do is ask for a meeting after the first of the fiscal year. I'll send a letter to them now and let them plan on it, so after July 1st, we can hopefully have some meaningful conversations on it.
Yeah.
Because I think they meet once a month in the summer, or drop down to just twice a month in the summer. And everyone's away anyway for summer vacation, so we put the bee in their bonnet now, maybe have a kickoff meeting, say everyone think about it over the summer, and let's get back together in September.
Okay.
So with that brings up everything that I had to say on the agenda with the superintendent's position. We spoke with candidate B last week. My feeling is that I think he's eager enough. I think he's got more than adequate capability on the street level side of it, as far as the tasks that would be required, diagnosing a problem, solving the problem in the field, the hands-on type. Through no disrespect to him, I think he just lacks a little of the professional polish to represent the sewer department at a bigger meeting, say at a base meeting and things of that nature. I think his eagerness would, at this point, could get eaten up at a meeting outside of this department. Again, not on his ability. The biggest drawback I see, though, is no PC skills. That is a real major obstacle in my opinion, because I know I've got some kind of a background in it, but I'm still going on that computer and researching different things. And if he was gonna write grants or that have you, we can't have Robin helping him out, taking more of his term. He'd have to be regulated to get going on a PC. I mean, you have the requirements of just this job, the putting up the spreadsheets, the budgets. The technical research is involved, but also the other thing is the EPA. There's a lot of reporting that he's gonna have to be able to do on the PC, and he's gonna be able to have to answer phone calls from the EPA and Mass DEP. But the big thing is doing the research.
So I kind of agree with you. I thought candidate B would be very capable of handling the field work, running the projects, keeping tabs on crews and so forth. But I did have a concern about the administrative skills part. In addition to what you mentioned, there's also all the ARPA documentation, which is building because we now have.
And it's gonna be more.
And then with the plan upgrade, it's gonna be
That upgrade
require some
alone.
intensive record keeping and training.
Well, it's not just a record keeping when you're talking about the upgrade. I don't want someone that's gonna take a technical report by Wright Pierce and Veolia for an upgrade and say, okay, that's the process we want.
Mhm.
I'd want him to be able to go back and research that process and feel comfortable with it. And again, I'm not throwing me into the mix, but I'm just saying what I would do is I never take anything I see in those reports for granted.
Mhm.
I look at it as, when you have an engineering report, they're gonna do everything they can to please the customer.
Mhm.
I take these reports like I did, like, say, for example, the CWMP. Okay, I wanna see what the negatives are.
Mhm.
Don't tell me the goods, I can read
Yeah,
that from
we
you.
need the full
I
picture.
wanna be in and find out the what ifs. And I think that would hurt him. I think that would hurt him more than help him.
Well, I think, I don't know if that level is something that we're gonna find in a candidate coming in, or if that's something that we're gonna have to train.
I don't know, but you
I
know
don't
the
know
amount of
either.
time you're spending on the computer with the budgets.
Yep, yep.
And I know the amount of time I'm spending on it
And the
with the
ARPA,
EPA
and it's gonna get more with the funding for this upgrade as we move onward, so there is
and
gonna be
researching this
a
upgrade.
lot of administration work.
Well, what's your feeling, Dan?
What?
What's your feeling on it?
I have no feelings right now, about what do you want feelings on?
Yeah,
How do you
Candidate
candidate,
B.
how do you think,
one
would you want him as superintendent, why not?
They're both missing one thing, management skills.
What?
Management skills,
Mhm.
that's what they're missing. They're both qualified to work the streets.
Mhm.
No, you're right.
I mean, they're street people.
Mhm.
Do we need a manager? I don't know. We need
Well, see,
somebody-
it's funny he brought that up. I mean, I know we need a manager because I don't wanna do what I'm doing. And I don't think you do either.
Right.
I'd love to see what Weston Sampson's gonna produce. I keep hounding them, and I think the problem is with Weston Sampson, we got them going 15 ways to Sunday right now. You know, we're not their only project. I am very leery of Veolia right now, because I'll tell you, and I'll give you my reasons why in a nutshell, is the generator. To me, we did a facility study in 2019, it spec'd out, said we need a new generator. All that was missing was the finite detail, which we did. And they have been dragging their feet on this since July of last year.
Yeah.
I mean, excuse me, longer than that, June. We were all set in May to go to the Board of Selectmen, which I did the first week of June for ARPA funding, and I got an email yesterday afternoon saying, well, there's still some things we wanna discuss, we're not sure of. We wanna have and here we are, we're at the point of getting the town electricians involved, and they've got questions. I would not wanna repeat what I put in the email last night to them. And
I get
it was basically, should get off the pot or I'll do it.
I mean, I'm looking at this stainless steel gas pipe out here. It's been over 6 months.
Yeah, well, that was one of the other questions I'll get into later on, but the
I mean,
generator,
I get the machine down here, dig the pit myself.
no, but I don't want them dragging their feet like this, we can't, they're doing, Veolia to me is, I'm almost to the point to recommend that we bounce them from the upgrade, because they're causing more confusion, I see at this point.
Well, I think that's where it feeds into having someone independent in this office to be on them constantly, to guide them to where they need to go.
So that's the experience thing we need.
But even just having someone here, and if they don't know, then they call you, they call me, they call Wright Pierce, they call whomever,
Yeah.
but someone always around, I think.
A
would make big
generator
difference.
is a generator.
Yeah,
Whatever you want on it, you put on it, or you put it in the station, have it powered into the station.
Yeah.
I mean, we had generators all over the place.
Well, that's a gem, we're getting too specific now.
well, what we need is someone who is able to speak to the people, get the question, and understand that if they don't know
And be
where to go
computer
find,
literate.
just go find the answer.
Yeah.
Now, candidate A is computer literate. They took courses online. I think there's something to be said for that.
Well, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to get on and give see, today's May, I'd like to give Weston Sampson to tell them June first you got a recommendation, or we'll call in candidate A again if he's available. Now, the problem I have with candidate A is that we could show him the sewer system, which is the only thing he was lacking, realistically. And then we're gonna be, are we going to be a training ground and lose him? Because there's a lot about this sewer plants screaming for people. Rick is having a hard time, and I know of 2 units of Veolia that are looking for superintendents.
That could be said for anybody that we bring
Yeah, I
in
know.
for training,
I
you
know.
know? And at that point, it's up to us.
But I don't wanna be in the middle, here's my biggest fear, we've come
No, we
so
don't wanna-
far with this upgrade. I mean, we can taste it, I think it's a reality, and I think it's a known reality to town hall that it has to be done. But it'd be so easy for that project to get derailed.
Well, the problem right now is, you don't see both together. One's a manager, one's a worker.
Yes,
So you need a person that does the paperwork, does all that, runs, and everything else, just to work the office. The other guy's a street person.
Right, but we can't afford 2 people there.
split the job is what you're saying, yeah.
I mean, with this upgrade, we're gonna be tight financially for a
I
while.
mean, I know what you're saying, but everybody's saying the same thing.
You know, it is sad, like I said, I was just up in Vermont talking to a lot of my friends who have businesses up there. They can't find no one, and that's in Vermont.
Really.
All right, so let's do this. Let me write that letter to, Weston Sampson. I'll have it ready for review at next Thursday's night, and we'll send it out, give it till
Yeah.
June first.
I'll
Alright,
get
so
some,
now, I'm gonna ask a question, I don't know if it's
Sure.
appropriate, so forgive me if it's not. Do we wanna look at a 3rd, 4th, or 5th engineering firm for this position? Somebody completely
outside the loop,
outside the loop? Fresh eyes, fresh perspective?
maybe he might have somebody he knows who wants to be a supervisor. You better off having a supervisor here, just for all the upgrades going on. Everybody
See, that
else-
goes back to Sherry's discussion of a project manager versus.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what
And
I'm
if we
saying,
go a
right.
project manager and then have Rick take on a contract with Veolia to hire another body, and then he's gonna have his problem finding, for him to bring in a guy to handle the street, and this is just my opinion, he'd probably have to pay him more than what he's paying his current staff, which would cause consternation for him with that.
yeah.
Let me talk to Rick about that.
Project manager, you
See, that's what we need, is the admin stuff that's killing us.
It's the
Oh,
admin
well,
stuff.
we're speaking of admin.
I know where you're going, hold on for a minute. Something I thought of is, because we are getting a part-time clerk, that's gonna take the load off.
It's gonna free up 14 hours of her time.
Yes, maybe there's, and I don't know, because I don't wanna cross any union restrictions, but maybe we get that street person in,
I would say, yeah.
somewhat literate, and Robin takes over any of the more involved computer
Yeah,
tasks.
that could happen.
Alright, let's,
You know,
but
so
no,
we
I
could
think
kinda-
we'd have to, I'd
Merge
want
and
to
mush.
pay her more than she's making for that additional duties.
Yes, absolutely,
But that is,
that
what
would be a
would,
different position.
or
a
do we
new
put,
job.
now, think of this, we create a position that's non-union,
Yeah,
slide her into it.
yeah.
Now, we're really open Pandora's box for union problems.
Well, yeah.
I don't think, I think we should can this conversation until we speak with Stacy.
Yeah,
I think we stop now.
I agree. Well, yeah, we're not
No,
deciding on anything,
no,
we're just
yeah.
thinking outside the box.
All right, let me bring you up to speed where we are in the piping. It's another animal. The piping is just ready to go out to bid now. The pricing is coming back. They want a condition in there that says what happens if there's delays to completion date. Because what we went through with the boiler, I put in, we're gonna deduct $1,000 a day. And now the thing is material lead time and things like that. So I said, okay, answer that now before you go out. Is there a problem at lead times? What are your estimated lead times? And build that into the quote. So that's what that is now.
Yes,
Don't tell me after the fact like last time.
right. Right, and
Is
that
the-
should be in there, completion
Yeah.
date of,
Yeah,
Was
but
the
you know,
bill
you
done?
should know what your estimated lead times for materials are now. Don't tell me later on in the game.
And, you know, if their lead time or their estimated completion date is August, you know,
Now it's,
tell us September.
Yeah, no, it is what it is,
And
as long,
build it
because
in.
we're gonna be running out of an Mass DEP deadline.
now, the stainless steel pipe, how thick is it? Is
Oh, I have
it
no idea.
3/4 inch?
I didn't get into the piping diameter, that's what we're paying. Excuse me, that's what we're paying Weston Sampson and Hallam for doing. Okay, with that, I'll take a motion in today's meeting.
Can I address some old business before we do
Sure.
that?
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Easy stuff. We had talked about putting something on social media just to let the residents know what's going on in the streets with our I&I rehab work. So I wrote something up and I'll be sending that to Doug, is the one that would do that posting.
Yep, I found that out too.
Yeah, he was on vacation last week, so I'm gonna,
Doug who?
Doug Lapp.
Oh,
So I'm gonna get back into that, and send that out. I had questions, I'm meeting with Jessica from Wright Pierce
Yes.
Friday
Oh, okay,
to
good.
start that fund sourcing project.
Okay, if you could, like I said, the way I had left it with Jess, I told her I didn't wanna go into too much detail till you two spoke. But the way I'd like you to approach it, if you would, is that we definitely need help with the facility and the potassium side. The potassium grants or funding is the number one matter, okay? That is
Okay,
absolutely
Top
number one.
priority, got it.
And then, I also don't wanna lose track of I&I street work. So if you could work on both of them, but the biggest thing is, to comply with that order is the potassium. We've gotta get that up, so funding for that's gonna be a priority.
Okay.
Which, I'm glad you brought that up, I tried to meet with the cost on Friday, he had to end up going to a wake. So I've gotta call into his office, they're gonna get back to me tomorrow morning
who's
and
the
set up a
boss?
meeting with, the cost of the state rep.
Yeah,
Cause I'm trying to set something up with him in June,
state.
that I'd have him come to a board meeting, but then that, I'd pass that off to you and Jess,
Mhm.
because that'll be getting into the
Wanna
funding
get
issue, and I
into
don't
it,
wanna get
yeah.
into that.
Right, but to get it started. Yeah, because I think we said it before, 4 million, we can get back up to even Steven.
4 million would get us up, would get the necessary repairs, but understand that $4 million, you've got to find it, and we may be chasing our tail, it could be, those leaks could be in clay pipes that are in the middle of a swamp, that were piped through a swamp. You know, we don't know. I have a guy, and let's say, we all know this water level has gone completely awry since the school project, and I'm not pointing fingers, but it has to be something in that area with the water table, absolutely has to be. 'Cause-
Diverted it somewhere.
yeah, diverted
where
it somewhere
it
because
found that big
these
hole,
levels are not dropping.
and then it found the hole, and that's
It
where it's
found the
coming
hole,
in.
and it's coming in. We'll know in July when they pop that manhole cover again on the grounds.
Yeah. And I had a question on this I&I rehab project, because I know that we have, our company's doing oversight on it.
Right, that's,
That's,
Western Sampson is doing the I&I oversight, that
Right.
I&I oversight is inland, is totally anything with inland waters. That is the, young lady that follows them around,
So there is somebody going out and
Yes,
looking,
there's someone with them
actually
every
eyes
single day.
on. Okay,
every
perfect,
single day,
Perfect.
she's with them every single day.
Well,
And her name is Lori something,
That's fine.
I can't pronounce the last name,
And our
it's
next
Lori.
monthly meeting, is that on the 18th?
Is the 18th, Thursday afternoon at 3:30,
3:30 here at the plant?
here at the plant, in
3:30.
person.
Okay.
I'll send you out a preliminary agenda so you can look it over.
Okay.
Metering is a separate crew, that year one monitoring is a total separate crew.
Yes.
They've got all the meters are in place and they come back every second or every third week to read them, they just read them yesterday. So,
Oh, they're in already.
They're in.
I told them I didn't wanna see until they had three good readings in, I don't wanna jump to conclusions with one or two, give me 3.
Yeah.
See if there's any trending there. It's not a matter of being surprised, it's just a matter of to analyze a curve, you want more than one point.
Right.
So with that, I'll take a motion in the meeting.
You already made the motion.
Okay, well, seconded.
Second,
All in favor?
right.
Yes.
Guys, thanks, guys.